Hey everyone, what's up? So we did watch the press conference, and I just want to say, highly entertaining, at least in my opinion. You can already feel the emotions and the electricity. You can feel the nerves and everything else. Both men have mutual respect, which is cool. I do have some takeaways for both people. Uh, but we're very early right now. We're in very early stages. I mean, these dudes, when they walked up, you could tell like this is finally real for both guys. There was a lot of mutual respect. Derek James and them, I mean, people have been seeing the interviews with Derek James, and I know it was an old interview, but it came out that dude redropped it like yesterday. I watched some of that, but Derek James tried to pull more of that discrediting stuff, and it just made him look dumb. You know, you're not just catering to the Errol Spence fans anymore on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? The whole world's seeing you now with this nonsense, and now the dude's there to defend himself and check you when you're just talking nonsense. Other channels been covering stuff like that very well, like Mark Nash. So many channels that are far better than mine. But, you know, Derek James, he just couldn't help himself, and neither could Errol Spence. Again, we talked about it in our one video, you know, the fish tank ain't the ocean. And really, these dudes, they don't have room to talk about who's been match made, who's been built up. You understand? Bud did not have red carpet treatment coming to the point where he's at now, unlike Errol Spence. We don't need to get into that right now, though. One of my takeaways for Crawford, and like I said, this is still early for both men. It's still like probably like a dream come true or whatever else, at least for Terrence Crawford's sake. And that's my takeaway for him. He seems a little too happy. But he was the one coming with the, you know, the most cold-blooded lines and stuff like that, especially when he said what happens when you take a fish out of water, you know, he suffocates, you know. He said a few things that I think really caught the attention. You know, Bomac, he came out humble, and you can just tell he's emotional. He's authentic and genuine with what he's saying. Um, Reading the comments during the press conference was funny because both sides were trolling hard. Spence fans and Terrence Crawford fans, man. Oh, man, it was funny to watch all that. I was on the Showtime one, but Fight Hub had one, and a few other sources had it as well. You know, a lot of people, they are doing what they can to promote this fight and things like that, and we have to. We got to support this fight because this is how you get big fights and fighters to fight each other and not play this easier route stuff and, you know, all this playing possum and everything that boxing was becoming. You know, now they're starting to understand, like, we can't fake it till we make it anymore. We just can't come out here. And this is even for guys like Canelo, and I know that's going to make Canelo fans mad, but we keep it a buck on this channel. You know, where these dudes just come out with sugarcoat pay-per-view numbers and things like that. You know, a lot of these fighters, they're losing their company's money. Canelo was, GGG, those type of guys. A lot of these guys, they don't back it up. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of dudes were just getting overpaid in this sport. And it's bankrupt a lot of companies like HBO. DAZN knows they've been losing money. I don't even have to go into that. But, you know, they had to rework Canelo's contract and GGG's, just for example. But, you know, this fake it till you make it stuff where we have to lie about 200,000 pay-per-view buys, try to make, you know, act like a fight that used to be on World Championship Boxing on HBO, acting like that's pay-per-view worthy, you understand? In today's little gimmick era, like, again, you guys have to make the fights. Oscar De La Hoya is a prime example. You can say what you want about Oscar De La Hoya. He did coke, you know, he dressed in fishnets and drag, whatever. I don't care what you have to say about him, especially some of you dudes today, you're a little effeminate yourselves, you know. But the dude took L's and still made more money than all these dudes today. So I don't want to hear nothing about the easier route and all this nonsense. These fighters, they need to understand you don't want to stunt your growth, always being in showcase fights and things like that. It's these types of fights that make the sport live and thrive, you understand. You have two businesses that are oldest businesses in the book. One of them is prostitution, the other's boxing. And you just make the best fight the best, and then boxing destroys everything else. It's just that simple. It was never a complicated thing where you had to reinvent the wheel today. I don't know what these dudes were thinking. Sport was getting infiltrated by YouTubers and things like that, outselling these fighters that really, put in a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. But Crawford, he seems a little too happy, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But like I said, he did deliver some pretty cold-blooded moments. I saw the fire in both guys. This is a Terrence Bud Crawford channel. You know what I'm saying? And we do keep it a buck. Spence and them, the fact, and other channels that called this out, Mark Nash, so many channels are noticing this. But these dudes get their ideas from YouTubers, guys. Spence and them. And Derek James, man. I mean, it just comes off as unoriginal. You know what I'm saying? But Crawford, he's definitely that poor kid, that's in a big city. He's all wide-eyed and stuff like that. But, that could be a good thing or a bad thing. During the last face-off, the first face-off, the dudes were just, kind of joking around like we're finally here type deal. But the last one, both guys were tense. Again, this is the first press conference. There's not much we can really tell from this. Like I said, it was very entertaining, but we'll see what happens as it gets closer to go time. And the fighters, they're in that adogi stage where they're drained and they can't eat and all that stuff, and they're just irritated. And both guys are going to be in that state. Then we'll see what's really everybody talking about. But this is a fight where, of course, none of us want some nonsense to happen, pushing and shoving, and then, who knows? Maybe a fighter can get injured. This fight just does not need that. This is a fight that the boxing world has clearly wanted for the past 5 or 6 years. And speaking of the Canelo fans, I saw a lot of Canelo fan trolls. And like you guys are watching, but you're sitting here hating, talking about how Benavidez and Canelo could beat both of these duckers. I kept seeing like comments like that, and I don't understand. Are you Canelo fans threatened by this fight? I don't think any of you fans really need to play factions like that right now. Canelo has had his time, with the stuff that he was doing. Right now, you could say that it's maybe a couple years too late, but again, some of Canelo's best fights, you're fighting Triple G when he was like 36, dude. You fought Floyd. You thought you were cherry-picking Floyd. We could really get on Canelo on this channel too. So I don't understand why any fan would be complaining about this fight, especially what we've been given. You know what I'm saying? Like in the past few years, boxing was hurting there bad, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, Jake Paul was like the biggest pay-per-view star there for a minute, I mean, that's pretty sad. It's fights like this that are definitely going to build boxing up and drum up interest again. And this is just something they need to do. The milk cow system and fake it till you make it was definitely hurting the sport. I don't want to talk too much crap about Derek James and Errol Spence and all these other dudes. Again, this is the first presser. Again, Crawford again just looking like that poor kid who just made it to the big city and his eyes are all big and wide and everything. That's cool. Errol Spence, this is business as usual. He's been in this position. Again, both guys, they weren't going to let the other off the hook whatsoever. I don't really need to get too deep in this, but it was definitely entertaining. And again, no reason to really talk crap. We're going to find out what the real truth is on July 29th. I see the fans dissecting everything right now, and that's funny, dude. It really is. That's the excitement that every fight should be given. That's supposed to be a big fight. None of this, easier route crap again. And, the politics and all that nonsense that people have been so focused on. This is a fight that brings the boxing aspect of it back to the forefront instead of business and politics and all this nonsense that I've been watching the past however many years. Again, we're not going to talk too much crap. We do have that Ugas versus Spence film study. I've been sitting on it for a minute, guys. Like, I just been taking a pause, you know, letting people do things and seeing where we get to that next step, you know. But, you know, I've been sitting on that. I could have dropped that like 2 days ago. But we're just going to be dropping more content. And I have been getting requests for the Inoue, or however you say his name, and what's his name, fight, Fulton. I'll give you a preview right now. I'll just basically break it down real quick right now. But I think Fulton's going to play spoiler. He's going to do a lot of clinching and things like that. It's going to make for a kind of ugly fight. Inoue is going to be the house fighter, plus he's the bigger market guy, so there might be politics in this. He might still itch away with a decision if he doesn't knock him out. It just depends on who's going to win the real estate in this fight. Fulton, like I said, if he can keep it close and keep it inside fighting, clinching, and doing those type of spoiling tactics, he can get the decision. But I think politics and those types of things are going to be with Inoue. Now, if Inoue keeps it mid-range to outside, I think he does have the advantage. But this is a smaller guy. He's 5'4", guys. Fulton, who's already fought at a catchweight fight, I believe, at 124 already, he's going to fill out more. I think he's going to be bigger and things like that. He's athletic himself. You understand, he's got quick hands himself. He's got some ability himself. It's going to, I think, be a new look for Inoue. And again, I just think it's going to be a close fight. And it's going to come down to the wire. If Inoue is the truth, if he does have skill, guys, he does have defense and things like that, but he does have some weaknesses, especially on the inside and clinch. And what's his name? We all saw that he couldn't deal with pressure, things like that. Inoue is a very technical, sound fighter, punch placement, things like that. So like I said, he can keep it at his range, which the mid-range outside favors him. He has a good chance, but I really believe what's his name is going to play spoiler tactic, and it's just going to be a tough, grindy fight. You understand? I'm not betting on this fight. I'm not putting my money on either guy in this fight. I only put my money on fights that I know I'm going to win. Just FYI. And plus, my focus has been on Spence versus Terrence Crawford. I understand people are excited about Inoue and Fulton. I get it, guys. I do. But, you know, got kids, I got a career and things like that. I have to prioritize my times and passions and things like that. So maybe we'll get into this fight a little more down the road with a little bit more intricate details that I can pick up on. But as of right now, I mean, it's no secret what fight I'm focused on. You know what I'm saying? I'm just sorry. I have to be passionate when I talk about these things. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only passionate pretty much about one fight right now. So, but yeah, we will talk to you guys later, and we will come out with more videos. Spence Ugas is going to get dropped here either today or sometime this week, guys. So look out for that. We also got extra highlight films that we did back in the day. These were ones where I was kind of learning how to edit, not saying that I'm great at editing and all that stuff, but also these were like when I had like an iPhone 8 and things, and I noticed like the audio on those on iMovie or whatever the app is, like it wasn't great with sound and things like that, but we'll still drop them, you know, just for people have time and just want to be entertained a little bit or whatnot. So you guys seem to like those, so we got others, and we'll be dropping those too, guys. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. Bye.